Welcome to the KMC Collective Podcast, where Tom, Ben, and Cole bring you practical insights, creative ideas, and authentic conversations for children's ministry leaders. Each conversation is packed with strategies to help you lead with clarity, build strong teams, nurture families, and stay healthy in the process. Whether you're planning lessons, training volunteers, or seeking encouragement for the week ahead, this podcast is for you. We hope to make you laugh, cry, think, and maybe a bit of all three in each of our weekly conversations. This is the KMC Collective Podcast. Let's jump into the conversation.
All right, and welcome to the KMC Collective Podcast. I'm so glad you're here. I'm Tom.
I'm Cole.
And I'm Ben.
Hey, fellas, are we ready for this conversation this week?
I'm
ready.
I've been all over Facebook this week. I have been addicted to all these groups going on in the children's ministry world. And I'm starting to see something. Can you guess what it is?
I
No,
want to know what curriculum to use.
no, that is there. But what I'm noticing is it is conference season.
Oh, hey, there
And
we go.
there's
you
a
go.
couple of digital conferences going down a couple weeks ago, last
Yep.
week. We got a conference as we're recording this that's going on next week. Then you got Children's Ministry Conference coming up soon. So like we are kicking the door down on conference season. And I'll be honest with you, I've never really attended a children's ministry conference. Like I've been to a bunch, and I'm a huge advocate for being a volunteer and serving. So much so that I can probably count on maybe one hand how many times I've actually attended as a attendee where you walk through the door, they give you a nice bag or a book or something like that. Um, I love volunteering, but we have hundreds of people out there that are listening to this podcast that this is their thing. They love go to conference, they love to learn, they love to grow.
Yep.
Um, but I want to know, what do you do when you prepare to go to a conference? What are some of the things that you look for? What are some of the things that you try to take away? Do you bring a backpack and fill it up with all the goodies? Like I want to know. So as we're jumping into this season, I'm excited because I'm going to Children's Pastor Conference in January, D6 this year. I'm going to try to hit as many in the Orange Conference. I'm going to try to hit as many of these conferences as I can. And so I want to know, like, give me some input on how to be a conference goer instead of a volunteer, if you know what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Give
Well,
me some wisdom.
I'll jump in because I've been a participant for many, many years. I mean, there weren't any conferences when I started. That's how long ago it was. There really weren't. I mean, you had little workshops you might attend, little ministries that did little one-day workshops, but there were no real big conferences when I first started in kids ministry, honestly.
Hold on, Tom, turn your head just slightly to the right.
You got your hearing aid
Do I
on?
see gray hair? Oh,
That's a cheap shot. That's a cheap shot for somebody who has no hair.
hey.
So you just shave away the evidence. That's all. No,
Very
all
much
right, but
so.
I'll take it. I'm a well-seasoned
Okay.
leader. I'm not old. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
well-seasoned. But there are several things, and I think what would be good is to share a couple of things that I would say you ought to do, and then I'm gonna throw in one thing about I wouldn't do this. One of the first things that I would do is I would try different conferences. I have been to a lot of different ones. I have the ones I love. I have the ones that I'm like, okay. But I think it's wise to try some things. So that's the little bonus tip is don't get just fixated on one conference. and drink the Kool-Aid, go ahead and check out some of the other ministry conferences, because it's healthy. You need that variety. You need to see different points of view. And I fear that there's sometimes, maybe this is the little don't, is I feel like people get fixated on one brand,
One conference.
and one conference, and that's the only one they ever attend, and you miss out on a lot of things. So I would say you need to think about that. But I've been on both sides. I've been an attender. I've also been a resource provider. I've been in the resource room. I've had a booth. And we're going to have if you're a fan of the podcast, or you're part of the Kid Ministry Collective or the KidMin Plus network, we would love to have you stop by the Kid Ministry Collective booth. Come talk to us. All three of us are going to be at Children's Pastors Conference in Orlando in January 2026. I think that's pretty exciting. But I would say one of the things that you want to do is you want to really look at what are the biggest needs you have going into this conference. What are some of the things that you as a leader need to learn? What do you need to help develop your team with? Especially if you're coming by yourself, it's going to be hard to get to all the breakouts you'd want to get to. So you're going to have to prioritize. And so you need to do that. So my first tip would be really read through their guide of who's coming to speak, what they're speaking about, find out and ask questions about that person, but come in with a heart open to say, God, what do you want me to learn, and where do you want me to plug in? Second thing I would say that you should do is go talk to people. Use the time between sessions, before sessions, meal times to network, to connect. One of the things that I love doing is getting with people outside of the breakouts. I will skip general sessions. Yes, I think it's okay to do that. And go sit.
That's disappointing, Tom.
But I'm doing it because I'm sitting there and I'm networking. I'm having intentional conversations. I'm learning about other things that I could do, engaging with other people. And so there's times where I just want to take that opportunity, because I've honestly, some of the best stuff I've ever gotten from a conference didn't come from the general session, and it didn't come from a breakout. As much as I love those things, and there's gold there, the best things that I had, some of the most implementable items that I came away with were in those off-time conversations. So I'd say go in with a plan, know what your biggest needs are, and then utilize your meals. When you're waiting for a breakout to start, turn around and talk to people. Don't just get on your phone. And, you're missing out on an opportunity to connect with somebody that God may have something for you with them. So use those times to connect. Go in with an attitude of, I want to meet people. Even if you're an introvert, you can find ways to go talk to one or two people and have a great conversation. And so don't get fixated on just one conference. Do go in prepared with a plan of what your critical needs are, and go after it, and go talk to people in between and during and after those kind of sessions, because that's where the gold is at.
I'm going to tell you, there's my little secret to networking. So if you see me at some conference, don't judge me. But my secret is, like, it's awkward to go up to a stranger. I know there's a lot of introverts out there. I'm not an introvert at all.
Nope.
So for me, this is
No one would
easier.
know that.
But I've actually learned, like, you got to find some common ground or something. And name badges are beautiful in the fact they have your name, which is still awkward to say, "Hey, Jimmy," but look at where they're from. So
Yep.
a lot of name badges will either have your church's name or where you're from, like Utah, Texas, Vermont, or whatever. Say, "Oh, where are you at in Vermont?" Or something to that effect. Just
Yep.
call out their church's name. Where is your church from? And that opens up a whole conversation.
Yes.
And yeah, I've been here for this many years, etc. But um, don't go straight to the name, but go to the location or the church, and then that opens up an opportunity to talk, to get to know somebody.
Yep.
But that's my go-to is I look at the second line on the name badge.
Yeah. Well,
So,
Yeah.
I just tell people, go in with a couple questions. One of my favorite questions is, what's one of the most exciting things that's happened in your church lately? Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Because people want to talk about their story. They want to tell you what's going on.
Yep.
And so a simple question like, hey, tell me what you're most excited about. Or, I've done tell me one of the worst things you've ever done in children's ministry. Tell me one of your epic failures. Icebreaker, guaranteed they're going to tell you one. And it's just a lot of fun because it engages people. It opens them up. And again, you're going to learn some things from those kind of conversations. So, Cole, I'm real curious because I know you've done volunteering and attending too. So I'm curious, what are your do's and don'ts?
Okay, well, I do have a couple comments on yours really quick. So, the talking to people piece is critical. I literally had a conversation I went to Orange Conference last year and had a conversation with the curriculum writer. I found one of the curriculum writers and I was telling him he was like, just give me everything. Give me the good, the bad, the ugly. So I gave him the good, the bad, and the ugly. But the cool part is it opened up a door for me to have a conversation and create a relationship. And last week I was contacted and they were like, hey, we're looking to shift some things. Let's have a conversation. And so they brought a bunch of us onto a Zoom call.
Cool.
And we were able to have a conversation about elementary curriculum for an hour. And it was great. It was great to be able to like take a relationship that I created last year at conference and then be able to blossom into something that I'm like, oh, I've never been able to speak into a curriculum before and be able to have those types of conversations. And so I'm kind of like Ben. I'm not an introvert whatsoever. So like he said, give me the bad, the good, bad, and the ugly. I was like, all right, here we go, man. So,
Unfiltered.
But yeah, I mean, take advantage of those because
for sure.
One, there's so many people. Sometimes the opportunity, if you don't take advantage of it, will never happen because you can easily just, go into the mist because it's like just so many people.
Yep.
Some of my best friends in life are from conferences. In fact, my wife is met at a conference. So like, let's go. I'm a big supporter in meeting new people.
Yes.
It's kind of like you take me out of my house and put me in a group of people, I'm going to find some connection. But I know there are some people that are scared out of their mind and to meet new people. And they just go for the growing or whatever. I know, Tom, you said you take as much notes as possible. Cole, you look like a note-taking guy. What is the best way to like approach that? I know when I was attending, I loved Twitter because people took the notes for me, and then I just retweet the ones that I want to keep, and then I can go back and check out my notes. But it's not quite as cool like now with the Twitter or the X or whatever. But
no.
What would you do now?
So, I'd say, so I'll tell you a little story. First time I went to a conference, I was not prepared. I was like a year into ministry, I had no clue, and our church had never been to a conference as a team. We were all a brand new team. So I wasn't mentally prepared and I was not mentally ready to take notes. I was thinking I was gonna outline the talks like I was in high school again, like in high school science classes, like
fill in the blanks
here, subcategory there. No. Couldn't keep up with that. And so I kind of do what Tom did with what he said was I come in with a plan. Kind of do your research. Like he said, do your research on your speakers, do your research on the different sessions, the different breakouts, what they're going to talk about. And so that can framework, how do you take notes with this? Because if you start looking at other speakers and you find out the guy that's talks a million times a minute like this, and you can't keep up like that, there's no way you're going to take notes. So you're going to kind of have to take little excerpts here and little pecks here, take a little of that here, and just little key things. If they offer any resources, find resources. I know some conferences will scan this QR code and you get a PDF resource that you can follow along with. Those are the best. So if any conference people are listening, scan PDR. I want the PDFs. I want the notes because sometimes speakers talk so fast and they get off on tangents.
Yep.
and we miss stuff. And so
Yep.
if anyone from a conference is listening, encourage that from all your speakers.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. But for me, coming up with a plan of going, okay, so they're going to talk about parent influence. I'm trying to think here, a real quick one I listened to like last year was like parent involvement with elementary kids ministry. Like, how do you get parents more involved? And I'm like, okay, well, what do I already know about that? Do your research on the speaker, and then start formulating your notes based on what they're saying. And they might say, these are my 3 things that I'm going to talk about, and maybe one of them everything about. So you're like, oh, I don't need to take notes on that, unless they say something, like totally crazy you've never heard before. Then write that down. But most of the time, stuff at conferences is a lot of stuff you already know. So it's just finding the little things that might shift your vision or shift the direction your ministry's going. And so it's not going, all right, I got my iPad and I'm going to turn on, the record button, and it's going to dictate via AI, and I'm going to just listen. No, you don't have to do all that, because what happens if you, what? I just thinking.
I actually downloaded an app the other day for a conference online, and just let it listen to it. And dude, it put it all in a.
I just saw that.
Maybe I need to.
I'm a huge advocate now for AI taking notes for you. It's like having your own assistant. I'm just saying.
I will say, in the past, it has not worked well for me, and it's missed a lot of things. And so I'm just like, I'm just gonna.
And there's a lot of research that says when you handwrite your notes,
you memorize.
You learn and remember way more than anything else. I'm just saying, but I don't have a problem with the idea. I like the idea of, hey, let's use some tools to help us so we can recall some of this stuff. But I would say if you're going to have AI record it, you still need to go read through and then make your own notes. You'll grab more. I mean, there you're utilizing a great tool, and you're also taking you'll learn more if you write it out yourself, making your own notes. Because I am one of those speakers who puts the QR code up on the screen, says, here's the notes, here's the slides. Now just listen and highlight what you write what's sticking out at you right now.
Yes. It just makes it easier. There's already a template to work with.
Like
There's already, you don't have to think about it. It's already thought for.
That's a great tip. Great tip.
My second thing, and this is going to be, I don't know if it's boring, but it's bit me in the butt too many times. And so I make sure I prioritize this. If you're going and you want resources, because most of the time when you go to conferences, there's resources, and those resources are usually discounted at conference via when you buy them on the internet. So my thing to you is over budget what you're bringing to buy resources. Because sometimes stuff doesn't get launched until you're at the conference, or a speaker comes in with this really great thing. I know one year, here's the thing that bit me in the butt. One year, there was a release of these new, where they were like ages and stages postcards that I really wanted to get for our families at our church. Well, I didn't budget for them because I didn't know they were coming out, and I didn't have the money for it. And they were really cool. And then I never saw them again.
Oh no.
So I never got them, and I'm so disappointed because we never got it. So over budgeting, I know sometimes, I know churches have strict budgets. Mine, you can't, I'm not going to bump it 30% for the year or something so I can have a conference budget, but over budget, give yourself an extra $200 for just in cases, because sometimes you find a resource or something like that can really shift your ministry to move it forward. Or maybe it's something comes out and you've got a plan, you want to go, you want to figure out how to engage parents better throughout the week, and all of a sudden something is released, something is given, and you're like, oh, it'd be great if I had the extra money. So over budget your conference budget.
Definitely.
Because if you don't have the money to do it and you really want something, you don't want to do that. So my one, I guess, well, do you guys have any comments on that?
Well, I would say this. One of the things that I see people not doing enough of is spending time in those resource areas. It's sad. I never realized until I became a resource provider how many times those resource center halls are empty. And it's heartbreaking. I mean, those resource providers spend money to come there. Many of them, it's not something they're going to make money for their business or their ministry. And, you know, they're there to help you. And one of the biggest mistakes I see people making is not taking time or just going in to get the swag bag and then never hardly walking through or walking past booths that they're like, oh, I don't think that has anything to do with me. You know what? I want to challenge people to change up the way they do resource center walking and start talking. Make it your goal to talk to as many booth providers as you can. Why? Because you're going to find things that maybe you don't need now, but you need later, or you could be the rock star superhero for somebody else you know in your network or another kids pastor, because they're going to go, hey, I need this. And you're going to go, hey, at Children's Pastors Conference or at D6, I saw this booth and they were doing this. You ought to go check out their website. These people, including the Kid Ministry Collective, we're there to serve people. We're there, you know, I'll be transparent. It costs me money to be there. I'm the one fitting the bill to get us a booth there. Why? Because I believe in serving ministry leaders. And it just kills me when I see people just walk by and not even stop to talk, and they're not even curious. So I would say, yeah, the budget thing, definitely, because boys, that bit me in the butt a few times too. I'm like, oh man, you know, or I want to get the conference resource kit where it has all the recordings and all that kind of stuff, and I didn't budget for it, and then I have to let it go, and then the price goes up after conference, and then I'm like, well, no, I guess I won't spend it. And there's all sorts of gold I just missed, things that I could have used. And I always tell people, you're risking your own ministry, influence, leadership development by walking past booths and not talking to them. So get curious when you go to these things, because it's just, you're missing stuff. Even if you don't think it's going to apply right now, go talk to them. You know, apply for their, you know, fill out their thing for the drawing.
It's because they're doing what they're supposed to do, Tom. They're going in to listen, to grow, to get that knowledge. And what I'm hearing you say is, skip it.
Nope.
Hang out with the
I did
people
not
that are
say
selling you
skip it.
stuff.
I heard you
Be
say
curious.
you skip main sessions. I mean,
I skip main sessions to network and talk to people.
That's why you do your research, because you want to know, like, what are the things that you're dealing with.
But
be
and
curious.
Those resource providers are open when the stuff's not going on. So
yes,
honestly, you can learn so much from the people hanging out in the hallway. I would say equal to what you're learning inside from behind the pulpit. Like you're going to learn from outside all the way inside. We got just a few more minutes. I want to ask one more question, because I like creating memories that'll last a lifetime. And some of my best memories are from conferences, whether it's children's ministry conferences, pastors conferences, homeschool convention conferences. Like, not that I'm homeschooled, but I was part of them with organizations. Some of my best memories are from conferences. And I know there's some people here that they love conferences, or some that are trying to figure out which is the best conference to go to. They're all great. They're all different. They're all amazing. And I'm not going to sit here and tell you which one's the best one. That's something that is a personal preference. You got to figure that out. But creating the memories is going to happen at every conference you go to, whether it's digital or in person or whatever that is. And I know, Tom, since you say you were alive before conferences began, what is what is one of your best memories, whether it's something you learned or something that maybe a cool takeaway from any of the conferences you've been to? Like, what is one of the top memories that stands out in your mind?
Yeah. It was meeting a group of people when Ron and I started the KMC podcast, well, the internet radio show version, and we gathered, we were all going to meet up. We had been advertising a 1 day or 2 day leadership gathering. And we just said, hey, we're going to be there. Come and join us. And we're going to do a meal out together. And we had like 10, 15 people show up.
Was
We
this the one in Ohio?
Yes, it was.
I was there.
Yes, it was.
Yes. I
And
think that's where I met you the first time.
in person, yes. In
Yes.
person. And we went out for dinner and hung out. And I mean, some of the best memories I have of going to conferences are the because I'm like, you
That
can
was fun.
sleep when you're dead.
Mhm.
I don't go to conferences to sleep. And so we went out and there was another conference I went to where we went out. We just were like, after the late night thing, we were all still pretty wired and talkative, and so we're like, man, there's got to be someplace open. Well, we found a Steak and Shake.
There you go.
That was open.
Get them
so
shoestring fries.
that's it, man. We all ordered fries and shakes. That's it. That's what we ordered, man. And we sat there until the manager was like, hey, would you guys mind? We gotta close down now. And we're all like,
Shutting down the Steak and
whoops.
Shake.
So, and we ended up going back to the hotel lobby and talking until about 2:00 in the morning. And just having so honestly, that's some of my best memories is
Okay.
getting to
Mhm.
actually meet people that were part of the collective, and some of those have become very, very close friends. I have an accountability group of kids pastors, and not all of them are even in ministry anymore. But this is a group of guys that has been part of my inner circle spiritually for years. And it started because we gathered at a conference and hung out. And some of those guys I talk to daily, others I talk to monthly, some quarterly. But yeah, seriously, I think some of my best memories were doing that. And then Ron Brooks would definitely want me to tell this story where I said, hey, I'll buy you lunch. And we all were piling out to this one restaurant, and I realized that one of my favorite restaurants that I never get to eat at was right across the parking lot. And a couple of people were like, "Ooh, I'm going over there. The line's, there's nobody over there. Let's go." And I left Ron Brooks standing in line at the restaurant and took off running. And then I get this message, how are you going to buy my lunch when you're over there and I'm over here?
Come on, Tom.
Ron will never let me live that one down because I
get it.
left him standing there when I promised him lunch. So now I have a habit. If I'm going to buy you dinner, I stick with you. It doesn't matter if I see some of my favorite places.
Yeah.
So.
If he promises, stay close to his side.
Yes.
What you got, Cole? You got memories?
I do. I would say my favorite memory, I have a lot of favorite memories, but my favorite memory would be the first conference I went to. I was on staff at a church, and we had 12 sites, 12 multi-site. We took our entire next gen team from all 12 multi-site. I don't know what the budget was on that. I don't know. I was not a part of it. I was just a lonely life group programming director.
Fun stuff.
I didn't budget for that. But we took, there was probably 35 to 40 of us.
Wow.
And after the first session, we went back to the hotel, and we sat on the patio for I don't even know. We were there till 3 a.m. and we had our first session was at 8. But it was the coolest thing to just sit on the patio and just connect. Because when you're at a multi-site, sometimes you don't get to sit down and connect with the other kids pastors as much as you'd like. Especially this is all before Zoom and all that type of stuff. So it's 2012, 2013. And we just sat and talked for hours and hours and hours. And I've created some really great, again, it's a lot like Tom's story, create some lifelong ministry friends from it.
Yep.
But man, I will tell you, just that connection. One of the things I didn't say that is, if you can go to a conference, afford to take a team, don't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
Just don't do life alone. Don't do a conference alone. You want people to bounce ideas off of. And some of my best memories are just the conversations I have with people, either that come with me or that I see every year. I only see them at conference, and then we just get together over, over and get something to eat or something like that, or get a snack between sessions and just talk about how ministry is going. It's life-giving.
Yes.
And it's just amazing. That's probably my favorite.
Yep.
Out of all of them.
Yep.
Well, definitely think I've learned that I can't do this by myself anymore. I love volunteering. It's fun. So if I could leave you with my takeaway is It's not as like professional sounding as you guys.
Gosh.
Get to know
I
the
love that you
team.
think we're professional.
Yeah, right.
My takeaway is take an extra bag so you can get all the free stuff and
Oh,
put it
Yes.
in there.
good.
Because especially if you're flying or you're driving, you're going to need some extra space because
Mhm.
like if you're going to stop and be curious at every booth, you're going to want that paperwork
That's
or
right.
that free candy or that free giveaway
Yeah.
because it'll remind you that, man, I met this person, had a great conversation,
Mhm.
and some of my favorite toys I have like company names on them because I ended up one day at one of my conferences having to buy a bag to bring everything back home in.
Done
So
it. Been there.
strategically planning
Yep.
ahead, add an extra bag into your suitcase because you're going to get some stuff
Yep.
that will lead to future remembering future conversations
Yep.
or
Mhm.
just a fun memory that you can hold on to. But
Yep. Well, all right,
I
Ben,
definitely
hold
feel
it. Hold
smarter.
it. You're not going to get out of this without answering a question, though. Tell me 2 reasons why somebody ought to think about volunteering at a conference.
I have
Oh,
one
Real
if you
fast.
don't have to.
Lightning round.
Okay, 2 reasons is you get to meet some of the speakers behind the scenes
Ooh,
and get
cool.
that like face to face that you don't get by jumping in a room with hundreds of people, 30
Yep.
people or so. You're sitting at a table with them behind the scenes. The secondly is if you're a volunteer, it gives you an opportunity to get to know people and it's not as awkward. So if you are introverted, if
Yep.
you're a volunteer and you're wearing a volunteer shirt, you automatically have an invitation to speak to that person. No
Yep.
Yeah.
matter who you are, you can say, "Hi, can I help you?" Boom,
Boom.
conversation started. When you
Yeah.
say, "Are you from Utah? Are you from Vermont? Whatever." Why am I using those states anyways?
I don't know.
But are you from Montana? It automatically
Yeehaw.
like you're part of that organization, and so people
Yeah.
feel like they can talk to you, and that you've
That's good.
created an opportunity.
That's
Um,
good.
those are two. The third one is the free
The
stuff you get,
bonus.
like
Yeah.
free
Yeah. Some free
food,
stuff.
free
Free
shirts.
food. Free
Um,
shirts.
I love it. Like I
If
think all my T-shirt collection is from conferences or children's
yeah.
ministry that I've worked in.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff to say kids, and I like free stuff. That's why I say bring a bag.
There you
All
go.
right. Last year, real quick. Last year, I went and was a volunteer at a conference, and they had extra speaker bags, so like with resources and stuff.
Oh,
And so as I left, the guy that was running it was like, "Hey man, just take a bag." And I was like, "Okay." So I
sweet.
got all these free
Yeah.
resources and stuff.
Perks.
So, and then one tiny little thing that Ben, I don't know if the church conferences you've been to, but if you volunteer, you usually get access to all
Yeah.
the speaking stuff, so you can go back as a team or as an individual,
Yeah.
go back and listen to breakouts and main
I
sessions and
mean
stuff like that.
that's cool too, of
Yeah, it
course.
is cool.
Having
Yeah.
but
That's
free stuff,
yeah.
Oh
being
no, free bag of
accessible to every.
resources. It was great.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is. That's good stuff. That's good
Well,
stuff.
thanks, guys. That y'all
Yep.
definitely helped me as I'm preparing for my conference season. I know there's people out there that are getting ready to jump into conference season. We would love to hear about some of the stuff that you're experiencing, some of the plans you're making. This is why we are the collective, like
That's
because
right.
it takes a group of
Mm-hmm.
people. So, like, as you're getting ready for one, share some of your tips with us at our Facebook group on KidMin Plus membership group. Like, share the love. Like, we're
That's
better
right.
together.
For sure.
Because I'm going in blind, and I need you guys to help. So let's go.
Well, hey, yep, we would definitely love to see you at the conferences. I mean, the collective guys are all going to be at Children's Pastors Conference 2026 and D6 2026 for sure. You might just see Ben and Cole around like Orange, or you never know where we're going to pop up. We'll be around. So don't be afraid to come up and say hi, introduce yourself. Let us know that you listen to the podcast, or you're part of the Facebook group, or you're part of kidminplus.net. And
Mhm.
hey, if you're a real conference junkie and a network junkie, kidminplus.net is a conference that doesn't stop. I mean, it's nonstop learning. There's workshops, there's actual training in the Plus. There's live meetups, there's coaching, everything that has that's a conference, except that you don't have to buy a ticket. You just pay the $15 a month and you're in. And we'd love to have you come join us there. But please come say hi to us. Hey, you never know. We might take you out for a meal or something. You never know.
But don't let Tom leave you.
Yeah, don't let Tom leave you. They'll just run away.
Yeah. I now just, never mind. So we're just looking forward to it. So I hope this has helped you guys. And we love doing these episodes. We'd love to hear in the Facebook group as we post this episode, what are some of your conference tips? What are some of your do's and don'ts? What are some of the things that you've learned about attending a conference? And hey, again, if you can't make it to a conference, don't get discouraged. Check out coaching, because coaching can give you even more than sometimes a conference can get. That's a whole nother podcast. But check out the KidMinistryCollective.com. You can see about the coaching. You can see about the community and all that kind of stuff. So, all right, that's going to wrap up this episode of the KMC Collective Podcast. I'm Tom.
I'm Cole.
And I'm Ben.
All right. We'll see you next time.
Hey, friend, that wraps up the KMC Collective Podcast for this week. Thanks so much for listening.